So, did you ever want to have some spinning slot machine visuals in a game? Or even just a counter with a cool animation? Cause this is actually quite quick to do in Godot, thanks to some shader and tweens. Actually, I've even used this technique myself in some of my games. For example, in Lightem, the incremental game about stars I released a few months ago, there's a casino with 3 spinning slots like this, and in my brand new puzzle game about ciphers, called Locktail, one level has a dynamic key that changes according to a counter, and I did this animation using the technique I'm gonna show you today. Okay, so let's see how you can do this in your Godot games too. Now, as I said, the main trick here, to have our slot spin, is to first create a custom shader. Basically, all of my 3 slots are basic color rect nodes that have a custom shader material using my custom spin texture to the shader. And what this shader does is that it reads a given slot machine texture that repeats indefinitely, and given the number of rows in it, meaning the number of different items shown on this texture, and the current position of the slot, it crops the initial texture to show just the part matching this position. The slot machine texture is just an image with all the possible items below one another, like this one. You can have as many items as you want, just make sure that each item takes the same amount of space, and that the nRows property matches the number of items on your texture. Then you'll see that if you increase the y-offset property, the slots will look like they're spinning around, showing every item in turn. And since our texture loops, it will continue to work even if our y-offset goes over 1. Also, note that since here I have 5 items, each item takes up 20% of the total height of the texture, which means that if I use increments of 0.2 for my y-offset property, this time the slots are perfectly centered on each item, which is typically what we want when we end our spin. And of course, using smaller increments shows us intermediary states. Okay, now this is great, but there is a small issue. The 3 slots spin together at the same time. Right now, there is no way of having different items shown on each one. That's because, at the moment, the shader material I'm using is shared between my 3 color rect nodes. To solve this issue, all we have to do is make sure that we go to the inspector of the 2nd and 3rd color rects, right-click on the material slot value, and use this option to make them unique. This way, the 3 visuals aren't linked anymore, and I can have all 3 casino slots spin independently. Which, of course, here I'll be doing thanks to the spin button I prepared over here, and that has its built-in pressed signal connected to the spin callback method defined in the script on my root node. And the script works as follows. First, at the top, we've got 2 exported variables. The number of items in our slot, so the number of items in our texture from before, so that we can get random values for slots in the proper range, and references to the actual color rect nodes, so that we can update the y-offset property of their materials and actually animate our visuals. Then we've got the values variable, which will be an array of integers that holds the current value, i.e. the current item index of each slot. And finally, we've got our tween variable that will store so that we can cancel the previous one if it's still running. Other than that, you'll see that our script only contains the spin callback method, and this function is basically divided in 2 parts. The first part is where we compute our new values for each slot. So basically, for all the color rects referenced in our exported array, we get a value between 0 and the number of items minus 1, that is therefore a valid 0-indexed item position. And then we store the current y-offset and the target final y-offset for this slot's material, so that our animation can know what its bounds should be. Now, there's just a couple of things to note about the final y-offset. And so the first thing is that, of course, we're computing it based on our random value, the one we just got. We saw before that every item is positioned at regular intervals, and this interval can be calculated like this. We divide 1 by the number of items. In our case, with 5 items, this will give us 0.2, which is the 20% of the total texture height we talked about earlier. The second thing, and that's where we do a little visual trick, is that instead of just multiplying our value by the step we got, which would give us the real logical y-offset value, we add 3. Now, why do we do that? Because our texture repeats indefinitely, this is a very easy way to have our slot spin widely at first, because it will need to go way beyond its true position, and so by adding some easing to our tween, as we'll see in a second, we'll get a nice burst of speed before the slot slows down. So this overshoot of the real value is just there for decorum. Since the texture repeats, for the shader it will just be discarded and only the actual real Y offset, given by this multiplication, will remain, and so this will look as expected. Now the second part of the spin method is where we do our animation, and we truly spin the slots. For that, we're relying on a tween object, and we also optionally make sure that we interrupt any previously running tween with its kill method. And by the way, if you don't feel too familiar with Godot tweens, you can have a look at this tutorial I made on that topic. But anyway, here our tween will run thanks to this tween method, which will execute over this duration, going from this initial value to this end value, and the interpolated result being passed as this v parameter, so that this callable inside can be triggered while the tween is running. In other words, here v will go from 0 to 1 in 1 second, and during this entire second, this function will be run over and over again with the updated v value. And so inside this callable, if we iterate through our casino slot objects, the color rect nodes, and get the matching initial and final Y offset values we prepared for the respective materials, we can then use lerp to compute the proper float value between these two offsets, given the current interpolated v value. Plus, to get something a bit more interesting than a boring linear animation, we can use the cool setEase and setTrans built-ins of our tween object to add some easing and have the animation start fast and quickly slow down using a cubic curve. Finally, I've added a tween callback too, so that's an extra function with no parameters that will run when the tween is finished to ensure that when the animation finishes, our slots are all perfectly set to their final offset. Okay, now if we try our demo, we see that thanks to this little script, when we click our spin button, the 3 slots get a quick spinning animation, and then they slow down until they stop on a random item. This is already looking pretty great. However, there's a problem, which you'll see if you try to re-click the spin button. Indeed, instead of spinning widely at the beginning and then slowing down, our slots suddenly move just a little bit and stop just next to their initial position. This actually makes sense if we look back at our code. Remember that for now, when the tween ends and we call its tween callback function, we assign our final offset to the Y offset property of each casino slot to ensure the animation properly finishes. But you'll also recall that this final offset was computed way above the real value by adding 3 so that we get the initial burst of speed. The problem is that this only works if the current Y offset property isn't already close to 3. Otherwise, there won't be this wild spin at the beginning. This means that to properly reinitialize our slots for the next spin, we should instead recompute this final offset based on the real value stored in our values array and our spin step. And there we go. If we try this again, we see that when we click our spin button, our 3 slots now spin quickly at first, then slow down and eventually stop on some item from our list. And then if we re-click the button, the same animation happens, but of course with a different random result. And note that since you've got the values of your different slots in the values array, you can now add some custom logic of your own to compute the score or the winnings of the player given the state of the slot machine. But in any case, I really hope you liked this quick tip. Don't hesitate to react in the comments and to subscribe to the channel to get more videos. And of course, a huge thank you to my Patreon members for the support, and to you for watching. And as always, take care.